Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So this is part 2 of the Goodwood review. A couple to take maybe from the Coral Goodwood handicap, the 2 mile 4 race. The first one, who was given far too much to do, wasn't he, was Tronador. Go and watch the run through from Tronador. Joe Fanning right out the back on Tronador. Left it far, far too late. Temporize under Luke Morris was always up, just behind the pace. Tronador must have given him 20, 25 lengths. He's closed it to 6 1/4 at the finish, but yeah, I think they'll be disappointed with that. Off his mark, yeah, he would definitely be interesting in something else like this. This trip clearly suits him. Should have gone a lot closer. The Irish Cesarewitch or the English Cesarewitch would be potentials, but Tronador's only rated 77. Not going to get in either of those at the moment. They've definitely got to find a race before that. But yeah, I'd be interested to see where Tronador comes back out. Anything over 2.5, 2 mile 2, 2 mile 4 on the flat, he would surely go very, very close for Gordon Elliott. The other horse that I want to give another chance to was Tritonic. Didn't like the ground, did he? He generally doesn't run as well on this soft ground. He's got an 8th at Ascot on heavy, 14th of 21 in a November handicap, 9th of 9 in a rail kill on soft, 12th of 16 in the Chester Cup. Doesn't want that ground. Get him back on better going. He is one that could run in the Cesarewitch not this month, soon. I can't think when it is. I've got a bit of a brain blank then. September, I think it is. He is one that should go for the Cesarewitch. I think he would go very well there. His only run at Newmarket was behind Contact in a handicap. That's not too bad a form. He's got a 4th of 17 in an Old Roller Cup. Again, not too bad. Probably wants a bit further than both of those as well. So, yeah, he's going to be aimed at the Cesarewitch, and if he gets better going, good to soft, anything like that, I think he would go very close. But yeah, Tronador probably the most eye-catching there, given far too much to do by Joe Fanning. Moving on to the Golden Mile. I was disappointed with R2 in this, for sure. They both ran very flat races. Revich went off 11-1, was up there in the just behind the pace and faded. Did he hate the ground? I don't know, because he's won on soft at Chester. He's third on soft behind Jimi Hendrix and Latam in a Spring Cup. I don't think the ground was really what caused a poor run from Revich. Might have just been an off day for him. I'm not totally sure where they go. They do have a race I think they might target this one again. What was this? The race at Ayr. When he was third, it's just a virgin bet handicap. That could be where they go with Revich. In terms of Latam, yeah, forget this run. He was stuck on the inside, getting mud thrown in his face the whole way. Ran 15th. That's not him. You don't go a 5-1 favourite for a Golden Mile and prove to be not very good. The handicapper, I'm sure, will leave him alone on 95. He definitely won't go up. I can't see him going down, to be honest, because you drop him anything from that, he'll just say, thanks very much, and go and win a nice race. Where do they go with him? Well, I'm hoping they run him at York. 7 furlongs, 192 yards. Clipper Logistics handicap. 64.5 grand for the winner. I think if he turned up here, he would go very, very close. There's going to be a few horses that disappointed at Goodwood due to that ground and how cut up it got, that will bounce back, and I think Latam is definitely going to be one of those. And I'd like to see him run at York. I'd be really confident of a huge run here at York. Moving on to the 335. So I mentioned this horse in video 1, and that was Raasel. And I suggested maybe running at Ascot this weekend. If he doesn't go there, I know where I'd like him to go. This is his form, and if I click on those races, you can see he's got a win in a listed race at Haydock over 5 furlongs, actually beating Dragon Symbol and Tabdeed. Good form. He's got a 10th in a Group 2. It was a Group 2. You can forgive him that run. And he's also got a third behind Regional and Equilateral in a listed race. It's probably a good listed race, to be fair. Surely he can come back in these handicaps then. There's this handicap on the 3rd of September, the Be Friendly handicap for horses rated 0 to 105. Well, he ran the weekend off 101, and then a few weeks later he could potentially turn back up for the Leicester Piggott first to last handicap. Again, you know, decent prize money, 37 and 33. The Goodwood handicap that he ran in the first day was worth 30 grand to the winner. Okay, he picked up a lot more prize money when finishing 3rd in the Group 2. He picked up 32 grand, but he picked up 32 grand for finishing 3rd. He could potentially go and win 37.8 and 33.5 in handicaps at Haydock. I'd be very, very confident he would win one of those. If they were his next 2 runs, I'd be very confident he would win at least one of those. And if he won off, say, 101 and they put him up £3 to 104 or £4 to 105 and he turned back up again, I still would be confident of him going very close in both of those handicaps. So that's where Raasel could go if he doesn't run on Saturday. Moving on to the... what's this? Oh, this was the handicap that he could run in. Moving on to the 520 at Goodwood, and we're back to this these connections again that I think are being very, very clever with their horses. Balance Play won here, and to be honest, he won it a lot more comfortable than it looked. He's finally stepped up to a 1 3 mile. He'd never got over that 1 3 mile trip. But go and watch it, and go and watch it about 5-6 furlongs out. Head to Crouch gave him a few slaps, little flicks down the neck like, come on, keep up, keep up. This horse wants further. I tweeted that a little while ago. This is what I tweeted on June the 30th. Still more to come from him when he goes up to a 1 4 mile. And I've tweeted it again on August the 4th. Still more to come from him. 1 4 mile, 1 6 mile. He's going up in the ratings and up in distance. I think it's really clever how they're doing this with Balance Play. Running him in races where they're just about getting away with the trip. I think the soft ground really helped him. And yeah, I thought he won that really comfortably in the end. I can see him potentially turning up in a Melrose. Just short of a 1.6 mile. 77 grand. Now, you know, they've got more experience into him. They've now got a couple of wins. I think he's going to go up 6, 7, maybe £8 for that. That would put him on 96. If I'm just having a look, 96 last year. Solcombe won this race last year, and he ran off 83, so you would definitely get in. Solcombe ran off 83. The highest rated horse that day was rated 102, so it'd be nearish the top of the handicap of 96, 95-ish. But you know what? I think the fact that he would then have even more to come because of the trip, I'd be really confident of Balance Play in a Melrose. That's where I hope we see a Balance Play, and he could be a future Ebor horse for Rafe Beckett. Yeah, I really like Balance Play, and I really like these owners. These owners have really caught my eye this year as ones that have been very, very clever with their horses and able to win races over inadequate trips or just about adequate trips, and then go on and win better races down the line. Moving on to the Coral Stewards Sprint Handicap, the consolation race for the Stewards Cup, which actually was the final race of the day in total yesterday because they didn't run the last 3. But the first race was the 6 furlong consolation race. The horse who was unlucky, I think, here was Living the Moment, because he was just on the wrong side, wasn't he? Only 2 of them came down this near side. They were Cooperation and Living the Moment. And Living the Moment won this side. I think if he'd been over the other side, he may well have been able to go very close there. Montreal Cody did win it quite comfortably. I think he kicked away at the right time. The others closed. Many a Star ran a great race for 3rd. But, yeah, I think Living the Moment could be the one from this race. Where do you go with Living the Moment? Well, I'd quite like to see him run here. So they actually ran Live in the Dream last year for 6th in the Skybet and Symphony Group Handicap over 5 furlongs. If we have a look at Live in the Moment's form at York, he has... I'm just loading it on my other screen. He's got a win, a second. He was second in this race in 2021 off a mark of 93. He would return here if he gets in. Well, he only ran off 86 last time out at Goodwood. If he gets in off 86, having finished second previously off 93, would he get in off 86? It would be touch and go as to whether he got in. But if he did get in this race, this one, the Skybet and Symphony Group Handicap, I think it would go really, really well. Only beaten 3/4 of a length. Who was he beaten by that day? Copper Knight. The 7-year-old Copper Knight, who has since won 2 races subsequently at York and at Pontefract. But he, you know, we know that that horse is a York specialist. He's actually got the most wins at York. So finishing second to a York specialist was no bad effort from Live in the Moment. And that's where he's got to be aimed at. If he gets in this race in a few weeks' time, I would be very keen on a big run from Live in the Moment. I have to make sure I get the right one. There's Live in the Dream as well. Moving on to the Coral Summer Handicap. And do you know what? There's a horse who ran a really good race here that's just unlucky, isn't he? Yukon Glen has done exactly the same thing again. He's finished third. Ran well. Great race from him. Who's he been beaten by? Sweet William. Who did he get beat by last year? Trawlerman. Sweet William could well go on and run, if not win, the Ebor. Trawlerman went on to win the Ebor. Last year, Trawlerman beat Bajdor, who went off the 4-1 favourite. This year, Sweet William beat Adjuvant, who went off 13-2 third favourite. Yukon Glen finished third. Yukon Glen finished third. He's just run into progressive horses again, and he's run into an in-form horse in Adjuvant. So what do you do with the 10-year-old Yukon Glen? You stick with him, and you give him another go in this race, the Old Borough Cup. So as you can see, I actually napped him for this race last year. I think the race fell apart because there was only 6 that ran. He needs to be weighted without the back. He runs through, he passes horses. He really enjoys that. Last year, it didn't work because of how the race was run. But to be fair, he still finished third, only beaten 3 lengths, off a mark of 105. Well, he ran at the weekend off 96. I think the handicapper will leave him alone, off 96. And he can come back for this race, the Old Borough Cup, at Haydock at the beginning of September. And I expect him to go really close again. He ran in it in 2020. He actually won it off a mark of 101. I don't think he's running badly. As I said, I think this is the ideal trip. 1 mile and 6 is his trip. He was third at Goodwood. That was a good effort. He was 4th at Ayr. That was a good effort, not beaten far, beaten a length. Yeah, I actually think Yukon Glen could still go and win the Old Borough Cup again, and hopefully that's where Jim Goldie runs Yukon Glen next. He's just bumped into horses again that are unexposed and improving. Whereas last year, I mean, this field last year, Island Brave, Charging Thunder, Yukon Glen, Halifon, Amtiaz, Golden Flame, if there had been a few more, I think Yukon Glen would have won that. And I still think Yukon Glen, you know, if he gets those exposed horses, it's all those horses that are in the mile and 6 category that just we know roughly about them. Yukon Glen will win. If you get another Sweet William turn up, then you could be unlucky, you know, Sweet William or a Real Dream or something like that. But hopefully all of those have run in an Ebor, and nothing turns up in this race and Yukon Glen can win it. But he's definitely one to not give up on. You know, I mean, we highlighted Sweet William and Yukon Glen for this race, and they finished first and third. A few more to go. Well, one more to go, actually. Just the final race, which was the Stewards Cup. Aberama Gold backed up his win at York, winning again. Apollo 1, super consistent. Bielsa bounced back. Mr. Wagyu ran a great race again for 4th. He's now finished first in a consolation race, and he's finished 4th in that. John Quinn had a great week. 3 winners, a 2nd and a 4th. Great bit of placing from John Quinn. The horses to take out this race. So the first one is Summergand. Summergand didn't run. Jason Watson looked disappointed. He was withdrawn at the start. His 4th now behind the Skybet Dash winner Aberama Gold. Looks good, doesn't it? Beaten by Aberama Gold, the gambled Manila Scouse, and the Green Man, who was massively in form. I really like Summergand for this race, this Skybet Constantine handicap. Surely that's where he goes now. I've got Twitter open. What have I got here? Oh, that's balance plays. Talking about there. Yeah. Back Summergand for the Skybet Constantine handicap. Over 6 furlongs at York. As soon as we get odds for that, I'll be backing Summergand because I think he will be somewhat of a gamble. So yeah, there's my part 2 of this video. A few horses to be interested in. Where did we start? Here. Tronador, keep an eye out for where he goes. 2 mile, 2.5 mile, anywhere on the flat would be interesting. Tritonic, I hope they go to Newmarket for the Cesarewitch. Golden Mile, don't give up on Latam. Everything went wrong for him. He's stuck on the inside. He is better than that. Similar to like Royal Rhyme and Desert Hero, who went off short price favourites or short price for the London Gold Cup and have since both gone and won good handicaps since. Latam will do the same, I'm sure. I hope it goes to York. King George Raasel, if he doesn't run on Saturday, I'm still waiting to see the entries. If he doesn't run on Saturday, then we'll be backing him in both of these races at Haydock, not these ones. The Be Friendly and the first to last, sorry. Hopefully that's where the HorseWatchers run him. Balance play, keep an eye out for him when he goes up in trip again. The Melrose would be my suggested target for him. Live in the Moment could certainly return to York if he gets in this handicap. Second in this race a couple of years ago behind Copper Knight. Yukon Glen just bumped into horses again. Go for the exposed Old Borough Cup handicap where you don't often get unexposed rivals. Bigger field will be key to him. And from the Stewards Cup, Summergand's form was nicely franked by Aberama Gold winning it. When Summergand runs in this Skybet Constantine handicap, I will be backing him.